Call the meeting to order. Firm, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are thankful for this special community, for the time we share together and the bounty of our nation. We are thankful for the commitment of our people who volunteer their time and talents to make our community a better place to work, live, and raise a family. We know that we alone cannot meet the challenges or provide sufficient inspiration without community involvement and the dedication of all concerned to the greater good of this city and all who reside in it. We are thankful for the beauty, the time, and the place that is Frostburg. Amen.
Amen. You all be seated. Whenever you're ready, Liz.
Commissioner Nina Forsyth,
Here.
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
Here.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie,
Here.
Mayor Robert Flanagan,
Here.
and Commissioner Carter is absent this evening.
Okay, Liz, thank you. Start off with approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And I also need a motion and a second to approve the minutes from our past meetings.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, tonight we have just a couple special presentations. First off, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Forsyth for the Spirit of Frostburg Award, which this year has been won by Dr. Carol Rogers.
You stand in front here while I talk at you. This is a little background that has been prepared by Barb Armstrong about the Spirit of Frostburg Award, so everybody knows what this is about. To celebrate our community's bicentennial in 2012, the City of Frostburg created the 2012 Fund. The 2012 Fund successfully financed a very enjoyable bicentennial celebration. The remainder of the 2012 Fund was invested by the Foundation for Frostburg in what is known as the Frostburg Day Endowment. In addition, the Bicentennial Committee designated the second Saturday in September to be known as Frostburg Day. On that day, or at the September meeting of the Mayor and Council, a portion of the interest generated from this endowment is presented to individuals or groups that have upheld the Foundation's mission of enhancing the quality of life for the citizens of Frostburg and the surrounding communities. Now, this is not September, so don't get confused. I think there's a little wiggle room there. This fund will continue to grow and serve as a startup fund for Frostburg's 250th birthday celebration in the year 2062. And I hope most of you are still around for that. In addition to a cash stipend, a unique piece of artwork is presented to recipients of the Spirit of Frostburg Award. The background incorporates the poster that was designed for the 2012 celebration. Our thanks go out again to Susan Dodge of FSU, who designed the original bicentennial poster and continues to customize the award each year. On the poster is the bicentennial poem commissioned by the Frostburg 2012 committee, composed by some local poet named Nina Forsyth, who, surprise, currently serves our city as Commissioner of Water, Parks, and Recreation. So this is this year's poster.
Can't let Nina have all the fun. Let me get on the other side.
Okay. So, I want to say a little bit about, okay, sorry. Lost my place here. So this year the award goes to Dr. Kara Rogers Thomas, Professor of Sociology at FSU and coordinator of the Appalachian Festival and Mountain City Traditional Arts. Every September for the last 16 years, the quad at FSU has come alive with musicians, dancers, storytellers, crafters, educators, vendors, food sellers, and more. But long before the tents go up, Dr. Rogers Thomas has been hard at work lining up everything from speakers for the Thursday symposia to the Friday film series, from all those performers and vendors for Saturday to the musicians for the capstone concert. While she works with the committee and has assistance from students and volunteers, I know she doesn't get much sleep around that time. During the rest of the year, in addition to her teaching duties, Dr. Rogers Thomas also coordinates Mountain City Traditional Arts, which sells a variety of handcrafted items by local artisans, and she regularly programs performances there by practitioners of a variety of folk traditions, some of which I have attended. This commitment to keeping alive Appalachian folk traditions and exploring and showcasing the ways they're evolving has enriched not only the students of FSU, but also the residents of Frostburg and the larger community. Thank you, Kara, for all you've done for this community, and I hope you're not too tired to continue.
It brings tears to my eyes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I am so honored. Thank you.
All this in addition to your frequent battle of wits with Miles.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Did you want to get some,
Yeah, I say, if you have anything you want to say, the floor is yours.
I just wanted to thank the Frostburg community, and it's really a labor of love. I love this region, and I love this place, and it's nice to be able to put together a celebration honoring all that. So thank you so much.
Thank you for doing it, we really
Yes,
appreciate it.
we really do. Thank you so much.
Right. It's another good thing that came out of the bicentennial in 2012, so glad we can do that every year. The next two items on our agenda, first off was certificate of appreciation to present to Allegany County Tourism, Ms. Ashley Workman. Unfortunately, Ashley's schedule didn't allow her to make the appearance tonight, but I know that Fred's here from Main Street Books. I know that Fred wanted to personally thank her. And so, Fred, if you have anything you'd like to say, because you were just as much part of it as a lot of other folks were. I mean, you're a famous face on Main Street. Stand up.
Well, I just want to thank Ashley and everybody in the city of Frostburg for bringing up TV here, and Megan Alexander, and that whole production that ran through town here last Thursday, Saturday, or whatever. It was a great weekend in Frostburg, and you all get to watch it on Sunday night. Hope you enjoyed it.
It's going to be playing again.
It's playing this
Thursday.
morning. It's going to be playing Christmas.
Yeah.
You'll see it. From
You'll see it. You'll get tired of watching your hometown.
If you can find it, you can watch it.
Yeah. Perfect.
So thank you all.
Thank you, Fred.
Especially Ashley really was the person who drove this.
Sure.
So we really, a big shout out to Ashley for all her hard work.
Go pass it.
She really works hard for tourism in the area.
Yeah. Thank you, Fred. Appreciate that. And then the other item was the weekend before, or the weekend after, I should say the weekend after we did Storybook, the West Brown Scenic Railroad for the second year in a row. Actually, third year we've been doing Polar Express, but for the second year in a row, dedicated a whole weekend to running trains out of Frostburg. That was actually 11 trains in 3 days that hauled over 5,200 people, which brought 5,200 people to park on Main Street. Matt Beeman can attest because he spoke to every one of them.
They all asked where to park.
And they all asked where to park, and he had the answer. I mean, he's got him schooled up. He would send him uptown and all that other good stuff. So, truthfully, it's a big lift because the railroad had to move all the decorations for the North Pole. Sorry, I know this because I'm vice president of the railroad too, but it meant basically tearing down the North Pole, moving the North Pole closer to Frostburg so we can stay within the 1 hour turnaround on the train times. So that's not easy. It takes 2 days to set it up, takes a day to tear it down, 2 days to set it back up. And again, it's just a favor to our community. The good news is next year, because it went so well this year, that I think we're going to have 2 weekends. So Matt, keep your schedule flexible. All right, so that covers those 3 things. So, okay, Kevin, Chief,
Sir.
show's yours.
Okay, we want to introduce our 3 new officers that recently graduated from the Hagerstown Police Academy. These 3 gentlemen went through 28 weeks of pretty strenuous training, and then when they came home, they had several months of field training. So it takes a good while to get somebody through everything that you need through the Maryland Police Training Commission. We'll have Tyler Davis, Joshua Delaney, and Wesley Miller come up. And also, we have a new position in the police department that we had never had before. We have a cadet, and that would be Cadet Avery Painter, who should also come up. We hired Avery because of a lot of the COVID problems and things. We constantly were running into people being out on sick leave, and she has been a wonder. She does just about everything. Of course, she can't do the police work but she can run the radio. She does the reporting system. She mops up the bathroom. No, but she does just about everything, and it's been a pleasure to have her with us. And hopefully, at some point, maybe she'll be in one of those uniforms. And one more thing that should be pointed out is Officer Davis won the academic award at the academy with, I think there were 30 students, and he won the academic award. The other two guys did real well too. They just didn't do as well.
Well, I'm honored to present each of you with a certificate of appointment. You guys have been working on the road since June for your field training, and you have each done an outstanding job. I really appreciate it. As my wife back there, Whitney, always says, Frostburg has a lot of heart and a lot of spirit. And if you go out in the Frostburg community, you can see and you know that people care. You just heard Fred talk about, just what the city of Frostburg does and the community does to bring these events alive. And these guys fit right in, and our cadet Avery, we just could not be happier with. These guys work like machines, and I really mean that. We've been a little short. People get sick. People go on vacation. There are many weeks that Tyler's worked 7 days in a row voluntarily to help cover. Wesley's done the same thing. Josh does, but Josh just had twins, so he's been busy. But these are great guys. Tyler went to FSU, has a degree in Law and Society. Josh went to Salem University, has a bachelor's degree also in criminal justice. Wesley is a hard-working man. When he came here, he wanted to be a police officer, and he was working every night at UPS and staying up all morning cutting grass and coming in here to do ride-alongs voluntarily. So we got some outstanding people. And Avery is truly special. We met her when she was a student in Commissioner Grove's brother's Career Center class for criminal justice. She was our intern. She did such a great job when she graduated school. We hired her as a cadet, and you heard many of the jobs that she does, dispatching. She enters training data for us. She goes out on scenes with our officers, and it's just been, we've had some outstanding additions to our department, and I hope you each know how much we appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. If we could get Lieutenant Slates join us for a picture up here. Lieutenant Slates is our executive officer, so he keeps the schedule going and keeps things running, in addition to covering shifts. I'll tell you, the Academy's no walk in the park. They started with 4 in their group from Frostburg City, but we ended with 3. So we're very appreciative of each of you guys, and thanks for being a part of our community. Thanks for your commitment. And Avery, we look forward to you one day being in one of these uniforms, and no matter what, we are so grateful to you for being here. You're a huge asset to the department. Thank you all, and thanks to all the families who have come, friends, and just we really appreciate your support. The police life is not easy. People work, 24 hours. We cover day shift, night shift, weekends, holidays, all that stuff. So everybody you see up here is sacrificing time with their family and their children and those sorts of things to take care of our community, the city we love. So please know that we appreciate you, and it doesn't, you make that sacrifice as well. So we appreciate each of you bearing with us, supporting these officers and our cadet, and coming out tonight. Thank you all.
Thanks, Ken.
And we also have one more appointment, and I wanted to put it by itself. We're having an appointment of the police department chaplain, which is Pastor Kristin Beeman in the Trinity Assembly of God. Many, many times in this job, your faith is tested as a police officer. There's many things that the public generally doesn't know what you do. You have to go tell a family that their child is dead. There's just so many things. You handle suicide, you handle just a mass amount of really serious things. And this will give us an opportunity not only to have Kristin go with us on some of these when we have to go tell somebody, but also that the officers can go to her and talk about their problems. So we're really glad to have her with us, and if you would come up.
Thank you, Pastor Kristin. We're so appreciative of you taking on this role. It isn't totally a voluntary role. It's a volunteer position, so we appreciate just your commitment to our department, to the police family, to your wonderful husband, Matt, and it really makes a difference. We're always trying to do positive things, always trying to look toward ways to promote the workplace culture and promote people's well-being. We have mental health resources, but the spiritual aspect is often overlooked. We've never had a department chaplain before in the at least 150 some years that we've been around, so you are the first, and we are so proud you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Dan, join us for a picture. We are very appreciative of you. We don't want to cover up Judith. And Kristin is the pastor of Trinity Assembly of God Church in Midlothian, so she stays busy all the time and works weekends like the police department. So,
Thank you.
thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
I'll let you do this.
Oh, yes, sir.
This.
Oh wait, there's more.
Yes,
Yeah, there's more.
more to come.
Yes, so those were our introductions and appointments, and I think it's very, very important in any workplace to recognize the people that make it go around, and we are very appreciative of everyone. But I try to look for things where people have gone above and beyond, or provided a special service, or really done something, or more than one thing, to stand out throughout the year, and I want everyone to know how much I appreciate that. When things are running smooth, things are running smooth. When there's a problem, you always hear about it, and it's very easy to miss people that are doing really good things because things work so well. But all the people we're going to recognize have taken on jobs or gone above and beyond to help our department. So we're going to recognize a few of these individuals. No particular order.
Well, how about the order of the agenda?
All right, we'll go the order of the agenda, which is in no particular order. First, we will. No, it is. It's alphabetical. Sergeant Matt Beeman, you would please join us. So Matt is receiving 2 awards. First, every year, the Maryland Police Training Commission, which is the state entity that regulates police officers, allows us to nominate an Instructor of the Year. So we nominated Matt because he goes above and beyond to do our in-house training and our firearms training every year. So what we do, we have a combination of outside training resources, online modules, and in-house training resources. So our in-house trainers will give things like the annual training classes that we have to take, or some of them are every couple of years, things like victims' rights and identity theft and certain sensitive crimes. So Matt is one of the instructors that teaches each of the shifts those things. He also teaches our firearms class every year. We have to do a classroom portion of 2 hours, and then we have to spend he spends, and Sergeant Delaney and I'll spend about 2 days on the range, running the line, doing range safety, doing actual practical firearms qualification and instruction. So Matt is always there. Like I said about some of these guys, sometimes Matt works 7 days a week, which I'll talk about more in a moment. But we went to Sykesville together, and he was presented with the Instructor of the Year award for our department. So we appreciate that, and I have a certificate for your file, so thank you and recognize you for that. Thank you very much. Now the next award for Matt is new, and this is an award recognizing Sergeant Matthew Beeman for outstanding leadership and service to the City of Frostburg Police Department. As I mentioned a moment ago, Matt works often 7 days a week voluntarily, so we work 12-hour shifts, so he's working sets of 2 and 3 days. When you're off days, you sometimes have to go to court and do things, Well, Matt volunteers to do the school resource officer grant. And what that means is Matt works on his days off and gets paid from state funding to provide additional coverage in our schools. If you've ever been in one of our schools or seen Matt there, it's unbelievable. Matt has the best rapport with young people that I've probably ever seen, and he's built relationships with them, and he's built relationships in our community. If you follow our Facebook page, Matt volunteered to help a gentleman out here shoveling heavy ice just out of the goodness of his heart, just to help somebody out. That's the most liked post by far we've ever had on our Facebook page, about 1,200 or so likes. And that's just one example of many things I've seen him do. And that's real leadership. You see a problem, you look for problems, and really you look for people in need who need a hand, and Matt always jumps in there. The mayor asked for us to find someone to work Polar Express over the weekend. You know, we're short, we want to be everywhere we can to do things, but we had Shop with a Cop, we had a Safe Haven coverage. Matt volunteered as always to work all weekend long. And those are just some examples. I could talk all night about the work and the outstanding dedication that you have to our community, but I want you to know how much we appreciate it. We're honored to present you with this award.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do. You're outstanding. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Stay over there.
Okay, next we have Corporal Jordan Cook. So Jordan is also the recipient of 2 awards. One is the Lifesaver Award, and we're giving him this award because we had an incident back in September where an 80-year-old man was going into cardiac arrest and really nearly died. So they actually believed he was gone. Jordan, Corporal Cook, and Matt Sergeant Beeman were up there. Well, Jordan jumped right in there, started doing CPR on the gentleman, did CPR for a good while, and saved the guy's life. I had the lieutenant from the ambulance service call me, and other folks call me just to tell me that basically his family thought he was gone, everybody thought he was gone, but Jordan didn't give up. He kept working on him, kept on at it just from his own decisiveness, his own dedication to duty, and his own desire to save a life. I mean, Jordan kept on treating him with CPR and saved his life. He survived the incident, and that's thanks to Jordan. And they are
at least 10 minutes.
That's amazing. Absolutely incredible. If you've ever done CPR, that's quite a vigorous amount of physical exertion for 10 minutes, and Jordan pushed on through and saved the man's life. So you can never really match that, and I want you to know how much we appreciate you, Jordan, and appreciate what you did on that incident. Absolutely. And if you notice, we have commendation bars on our Class A uniforms. I'm honored to present Jordan with the Lifesaver Award pin. Now, Corporal Cook is another person in our department who is always there, no matter what we have going on, whether it's an honor guard event on an off day or off night, whether it's Shop with a Cop, whether it's one of our community events, whether it's somebody's called off sick, we need someone to come in 5 minutes so someone can go home. Jordan is always there, just a phone call away. Jordan always works hard to go above and beyond to serve this community well and to serve his peers and coworkers well. And that's the type of dedication that can often be hard to find. I mean, it's just totally selfless. Jordan is just there to help people and wants to. If you can't tell, him and Matt work on the same team. I mean, they both have that philosophy of helping others, caring for others, and going above and beyond. And because of Jordan's continued dedication to our community events, our activities, our coverage, our special events like our special activities like the Honor Guard, we're recognizing Jordan with the Outstanding Service Award for year 2022. Thank Jordan for outstanding service to the Frostburg Police Department and the Frostburg community in the year 2022.
Thank you, Jordan.
I appreciate you, sir. You're great. Okay, next is Corporal Brooke McCarty. Thank you very much. So some of these awards are internal awards that we initiated and awarded on our own. Others are outside awards that either we've nominated people for or an outside entity has initiated the recognition. So we've had both in these cases with Brooke. Every year we have the opportunity to nominate one of our officers for the Cumberland Valley Optimist Club Law Enforcement Dedication Award. We to see her recognized back in May at their annual law enforcement appreciation dinner. So Brooke has taken on many, many duties in the Frostburg Police Department. I'm sure everybody kind of knows, but when you get down into the weeds, there are a lot of jobs that are necessary to make a police department run well. We need to do follow-up investigations on our cases. We need to have a quartermaster and keep our uniforms running. We need to maintain the parking meters. We need to direct traffic at the schools. We need to follow up with domestic violence victims. We need to do our special events like Storybook Holiday and Cocoa with the Popo. And Brooke does all of these things and more. She's here every day. A lot of times she works 5 days a week and then works our safe haven, our domestic violence center security on Saturday or Sunday. So she has really gone above and beyond for our police department. You can see she too stays very busy with baby Kay and her husband Garrett. And she really has given a lot of professionalism and ability to this department. So come on up here.
Come on up with mommy.
It's all good.
Sorry, Mom.
Hey, we're so glad you're up here with us. So Brooke was presented with this. I'm honored just to be able to take a photograph with her with the Cumberland Valley Optimist Club Law Enforcement Award. Again, we nominated her because of her outstanding work and the many roles she has agreed to take on voluntarily just for the good of our department. Now, an outside award that they initiated the recognition for was the Family Crisis Resource Center. Brooke is our domestic violence officer, so she follows up at least weekly with a service worker from the Family Crisis Resource Center. They make contact with all victims or potential victims of domestic violence that we know about when reports have been made, follow up with them, offer them services through FCRC, or if any further police investigation is conducted, she'll facilitate that. So obviously that's an extremely important service. It takes the time to do it, and it's very important to connect the resources, to follow up on criminal investigations and make arrests, but also to get them victims resources from the Family Crisis Resource Center. Brooke has done a great job with that, and they decided to recognize her with the True Spirit Award for her work with domestic violence victims, to advocate for them and prevent further violence. So honored, Brooke, by you and appreciative of your work. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I hope you know how much we appreciate you and all of your work. I've got copies already. Thank you for everything.
You're gonna need another knick-knack shelf.
Yeah, absolutely. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you so much. So next is Sergeant Christopher Delaney. So many of you know Chris. If you don't know him, you've probably heard him. Chris is an outstanding leader. He is just one of those people that is a natural leader. If you've ever heard him talk, if you've ever heard him or seen him operate at a scene, Chris is just amazing. He's one of these people who can do it all. He can do everything from figuring out what to do in an emergency incident, to making arrests like that, to doing follow-up investigations and arrests, to doing the security surveillance systems in this building, to wiring up the building, to fixing a door, to being our IT man, to making our in-car computers run right, to get us connected with the software vendor that we do our in-service training and reporting on, to mounting shotgun mounts and patrol rifle mounts in the police cars, to backing me up on the garage door openers back in the garage. All kinds of things.
I had to bring this up there.
Chris is truly an amazing man. He's at every one of our honor guard events. He's at all of our special events that require that type of presence, and he's always just a phone call away. If he's off duty, like I said about Matt, some of these guys working 7 days a week, he's at home in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, and folks are calling him saying, Chris, the computer's not working in my car. Can you come and help me? We were at the Christmas party the other night, and one of our officers pulled up and came in and said, Chris, can you fix my computer? So he left the Christmas party for about an hour to fix his computer, and that's just the kind of guy he is. Chris is also one of our firearms instructors, and he has greatly improved our annual training. We've gone from qualifications and basic judgmental activities to incorporating taser and verbal commands, and he'll yell at you, and it's amazing just to experience what the stress is like. It's really, he's just a master trainer, a master instructor. He's recently given some training to some of our businesses on active shooter response and active threat, active assailant response. So really, if you ever see his resume, it is deservedly probably about 5 pages long of solid material work. Chris is just one of those people. Also, he's the founder of Mountain Maryland Search and Rescue, which is an outfit of volunteers, a nonprofit organization that has come together to provide search and rescue dog resources, canine resources to this area. So they've helped police departments, they've helped emergency services here, and as far as West Virginia, an hour or two away, I think. So Chris is just a person. He's also a volunteer firefighter. Volunteer EMT. Sorry, friends. Volunteer EMT. We are very appreciative of you, Chris. I'm honored to present you with the Outstanding Leadership and Service Award for the City of Frostburg's Police Department for 2020.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for everything. I really do appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Chris, thank
You're
you.
outstanding.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our last, but certainly not least award is Mary Grayson, PCO 2.
Stand up, Mary.
So Mary has been a police communications officer, a dispatcher at our department for a long time. We're getting close to 20 years. We're not quite there yet, but she'll be getting another plaque here before we know it. But I always say about dispatchers, if you've seen them work, they really do 2 jobs. We don't really have clerical staff, so we have Mary and Reggie who are also dispatching. So there are some days that works okay, where they're able, Mary will do the monthly reports, which I'll read here in a little while, or, her and Reggie and some of the folks, they'll enter parking tickets, they'll do clerical work, they'll send letters out to people, they'll take payments for tickets or parking passes or whatever it may be, they'll hand out keys and log the keys. They're responsible to notify different city departments and entities about things like road closures and all these things. And then in the midst of all those things, we have officers who will call in traffic stops or call that they're out here, or you'll have emergency calls come in for 911, and it could be a nice quiet day, and the next thing you know, you have somebody calling in the middle of a domestic violence incident, or a car crash with somebody injured, or an impaired motorist, or an officer will stop somebody who's impaired. So there are a lot of days for Mary. It's basically nonstop, and she's done it for a long time, never complains, always has a positive attitude, always greets people just so nicely at the window, and people aren't always that nice to us and to Mary, and she gets probably the most flack, because when people are mad, that's who they talk to at the window. She takes a lot, always with a smile, always very professional, and just such a positive influence on our community. We are very appreciative of you. Because of you and your great work, we're recognizing you with the PCO of the Year Award for 2022. Hope you know how much we appreciate you, Mary. So appreciative of you. Absolutely. Thank you for everything. We really appreciate it. Speech time. Yes, I agree.
After speech.
Anytime. Thank you. Thank you. He's not able to come. We did have one community member award. He's not able to join us because he's a little short-staffed tonight and working, but we're going to do an annual recognition for an outstanding community member. This year it's Benito. Benito has done a lot to support our police and public safety departments, our fire department. He raises money for Shop with a Cop. He gives food to the needy. He'll call me about once a year and say, you know, a family that needs a meal for Thanksgiving or Christmas, those sorts of things. Whatever it is, Benito is always looking for opportunities to serve others. So he messaged me a little while ago. He's stuck down at Mario's tonight. He's a little short, but we'll get this award to him. But I just wanted to share that with you, that we appreciate him, and we would love to have recognized him, but we'll go down there and get a picture with him and put it on Facebook. And lastly, we have one surprise award. If my wife Whitney could come up here with me, please.
That's a look I don't want to see later. Oh, someone's going to get whooped.
So if you don't know, Whitney's at all of our events, and she's often the photographer. So we're honoring her by appointing her the department photographer. Elizabeth asked me earlier, we were kind of stuck in there. She said, can you take some pictures? I said, absolutely. But Whitney's already taken them. Is that good? Yeah. Whitney didn't know she was going to get this recognition. Whitney's at all of our events volunteering. She's dressing up like an elf at Storybook Holiday. She's a shop with a cop with her. She's with me and Commissioner Grove in every parade in the electric car. She's making it a little safer for me driving down Main Street, because she throws the candy now instead of me. So I'm coming back. So appreciate everything you do. We made this award to thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Whitney.
Thank you all. We appreciate you again, all of you coming. Feel free to hang around. There's no expectation to stay for the business meeting, but you're welcome. If you want to take pictures out there or in the police station, feel free. Thank you all for coming out. We're just thrilled and very appreciative.
All right. We'll take a minute. Guys, take your time.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Mary, thank you. Long way from St. Michael's, Mary.
Oh yes, the mayor's former classmate.
Yes. She had the shortest walk to school.
Oh,
So all you had to do was cross Main Street, walk right in the front door, yeah.
no kidding.
She lived above Billy's. All right.
Whitney, could you pull that door shut? Thank you.
Whitney, you got to do it all. All right.
Photographer at all.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks, we'll move this along. Small Town Christmas with Megan Alexander, again, is going to be aired a few more times, Thursday at 10:30 a.m. And it's on our, where to watch it at, on our page there. Need a motion second to approve the monthly reports from our various city departments.
I'll make a motion, we approve the monthly reports for the city departments.
Second.
Move the second, all in favor?
Aye.
And public hearings? Anything?
I want to hear about the CSO from Nick.
Nick, you should be able to handle this by now.
Oh, I'll just keep on talking.
You keep on talking. No, Nick, that's all right. We'll let Hayden do it. Just teasing you.
All right, I'll give a quick CSO project, combined sewer overflow rundown. Phase 9B, which was by Bell Elementary, is officially done. We have punch listed it, walked it through, and pretty much done all of the aesthetic work. So we are out of there, done with that project. Phase 9C is in winter shutdown. Braddock will be doing work incrementally as weather allows, but really nothing major. They won't be pulling up any roads over the winter. That project up until now is approximately 30% finished. The bulk of the work will get done starting in the spring and next summer. Phase 10A is designed, ready to go to bid. We are just working on closing a funding gap, approximately $600,000 that we'll be working on over the next month to close that gap, get that project funded and move it along. And then phase 10B and 10C, we're in the process of going through the funding package with MDE downstate just to see what we should pursue, what they think we'll get, what kind of loan and loan forgiveness and what kind of grant we'll get out of that and how we want to proceed. If there are any questions, I would be more than happy as always to answer them. So.
Any other questions? Thank you, Hayden. Appreciate the report. Okay, no old business, move to new business.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item tonight is ordinance 2022-08. This is introducing an ordinance to amend the city code in regards to the city's ethics laws. Recently, the state of Maryland passed new standards regarding the ethics codes, and the state's ethics commission reached out to the city attorney saying the city needed to update their city ethics code relative to conflicts of interest and financial disclosures that are equivalent or exceed state law standards. So this ordinance was written by your city attorney. It was reviewed by the state ethics commission, and it has been approved on their end for your consideration. So I would ask for a motion and a second to approve this ordinance on first reading and set the February 15th, 2023 council meeting as an advertised public meeting. Public hearing, I'm
Public.
sorry.
Sorry, this is to make it more in line with the state.
It's to
Requirements.
bolster it more, yes.
I move we approve ordinance 2022-08.
Second?
Okay, moving to second. Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The second item tonight is ordinance 2022-09. Currently in the city code, there's provisions for a solicitor's permit. The city can't really regulate what solicitors do or say in the city as long as they are not committing a crime. However, the word permit tended to imply that the city was condoning whatever they were selling or saying, which has led to some confusion in from the public perspective. And I know at least the mayor and our police department had received some feedback regarding that earlier this year. So in consultation with the city attorney, we've recommended changing the language from solicitor permit to solicitor registration. So the process on the back end does not change. So we will still have the business they work for, their contact information, and if necessary, their business license to be operating in the state. But the term registration does not imply that we're condoning their activities per se. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve this ordinance on first reading and set the February 15th, 2023 council meeting as an advertised public hearing.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2022-09 on first reading.
Second?
Moving to second. Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution 2022-55 would appoint Miss Julia Williams for a 3-year term to the Board of Zoning Appeals. She has served several terms in the past, has expressed interest in serving again. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 2022-55.
Second?
Moving to second. Any public comment on Ms. Williams? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is 3 items to be approved with the American Rescue Plan Act funds. The first would be the police live scan fingerprinting hardware software. I thought that we would have to have a separate resolution approving the purchase because we anticipated exceeding $15,000, but Sergeant Delaney solicited 3 competitive quotes, and the one that is most affordable that they will be ordering with your blessing tonight is right around $16,000, so an additional resolution isn't needed for that. Second is disc golf course equipment for installation at Hoffman Park. And then lastly is a grant to the Frostburg Fire Department in the amount of $500,000 for their ladder truck. Once they are closer to the purchase and the request for the money from the city, we will put an agreement in place that just stipulates spending deadlines, things like that, a simple agreement. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2022-56.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 2022-56.
Second.
Moving to second. Any public comment?
I would like to just say in regards to the $500,000 for the ladder truck, that's a much needed piece of equipment, and that piece of equipment will serve the city for the next 20 to 25 years, which is a really good investment. It'll be for the citizens of Frostburg and the surrounding areas to keep these areas safe.
I have a question on the disc golf course. Did Brian provide any estimate as to, I know the equipment doesn't cost a lot, but did he provide?
That project is $8,500.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thanks.
You guys have anything? You guys good? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next, I have Resolution 2022-57. This would approve, one of the ARPA projects that you've previously approved is LED light retrofits of the old LED lights in town, like out here on Water Street where Broadway, where they've exceeded their useful life. And unlike the old lights that burn out and we knew we had to replace them, the LEDs just dim.
Go to sleep. And they're sleeping very well now.
So, of course, like everything else, the price of those has gone up, but the total cost for 51 of them is $25,092. So, if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we'd ask for a motion in a second to approve the purchase of these light fixtures.
I make a motion, we adopt resolution 2022-57.
Second.
Moving to second. Any public comment?
Is there what's the estimated life on this?
I think the original ones were like
$2,400.
okay, and that's like what, 6 years-ish?
Yeah.
And now we're 10 to 12 years on the new ones that we're installing, and we're also purchasing them with the
dimmable?
yes, the dimming setting. The puck, I think, is what they call it. So
That's not as descriptive.
Yeah.
so when they install them, there's one test one that we have on Water Street that's dimmed, and they'll probably use the same setting there because it's, I think, like 40%. That's how bright they are. So
Yeah, they're very bright.
All good? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
okay, next, as you've had several meetings discussing purchasing properties in the area between Armstrong Insurance and the current city parking lot at the apartment building behind the Methodist Church on West Mechanic Street. You currently own 32 West Mechanic. You are set to close maybe tomorrow on 28 and 30 West Mechanic, and there was one small postage stamp property left at 34 West Mechanic. You were able to negotiate with the owner in closed session earlier this month for a purchase price of $115,000 for 34 West Mechanic Street. The acquisition of these 4 properties will allow the city to develop a lit, video surveilled public parking lot.
With parking meters. I've heard that 3 times Sunday night.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Why?
They just
so
wanna
you could
decorate
They
more.
want more meters to decorate.
For city staff parking, we'll use that lot, excuse me, to do overnight permits, like we currently do in the lot just up the hill, for people that reside downtown and don't have off-street parking. It will serve City Place for those events, serve downtown businesses, and I expect it will serve the churches there on Main Street as well on Sunday morning.
What was the total on parking spaces?
If we go bare bones, nothing special, 68, but it'll probably be around 40 between stormwater and lights.
Good project.
If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2022-58, which authorizes entering into a contract with the owner and then closing on the property.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 2022-58.
Second?
Moving to second. Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
And then lastly, each year the city is part of the Maryland Enterprise Zone program, and each year you need to certify new businesses or businesses that have improved or expanded their property to be eligible for Enterprise Zone tax credits. Those credits are 80% of the increase in assessed value for the first 5 years, and then it decreases 10% each year for the second 5 years down to 30%. There's also, if you add new employees, there's also an income tax credit that they can take advantage of through their tax accountant. So this year, the city's in the process, or in the practice now, of just certifying new businesses that we know have made an investment in their property or expanded. So this year, we have Berkeley Springs Instruments, we have Calumet Enterprises, which is the former Sierra Hygiene, now Webster & Clark Industries toilet paper factory expansion. They more than tripled their footprint there. Goodwill Industries and Big Lots are both in the plaza. Somerset Trust Company made a big investment down at the east end of town. And Burger King completed an almost $500,000 remodel this year. So this will be an opportunity for them to potentially take advantage of tax credits. It's a process that happens on the state level. We just find out what type of credit they are to receive, and then if they do receive one, the state reimburses us for 50% of that credit.
Very good.
So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2022-59.
I move we approve Resolution 2022-59.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
3 minutes, Nick.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. I'd like to thank you, first of all, for allowing us to do the awards presentation here at the meeting. So I know it takes some time, but it means a lot to do it with your support and with you here. Thank you for having us do that, allowing us to do that. Have the monthly report for the police department for the month of November 2022. We had 722 incidents compared to 584 the year before. As always, a mixture of incidents. We had 21 arrests of various types. 11 of those were custodial arrests. Others were citations at the scene or forwarded for charges. We had a diversity of public service activities, 19 well-being checks, 36 requests for a police officer, 29 disturbances of multiple types. They can be assaults, domestic disturbances, noise, a variety of things. 134 traffic stops, and if you take a glance down at the money on the report, we didn't collect the parking meters because of the declaration, so probably in early January we'll have all that collected again, and we'll see the income there for the parking fees for November. As always, trying to do good community things, so December's obviously been outstanding for that with Storybook Holiday, Shop with a Cop. We had Christmas caroling and a holiday party at Meshack Frost Village last night. Today we were at the nursing home behind the post office for Cocoa with the residents. Delaney and I were down there, and Commissioner Grove and I have really worked hard together every day to do community outreach and build those relationships that our community's known for. And luckily, we've had a lot of opportunities to tap right into. With that said, we focus a lot on the community aspects, but enforcement is a component of what we do. We had a ton of traffic complaints, as you remember, reporting, so we got a number of volunteers from our department to work on our traffic enforcement team. We did our first initiative in November, and we made 60 traffic stops in like 1 8-hour shift with a number of guys working extra, so that was the neat thing.
Is it mainly for speed or what?
Yeah, it was a combination, mostly speed, cell phone use, expired tags, headlights out. Those are the predominant ones, but probably mostly speed. We wrote mostly warnings, honestly. We don't really, like the heavy-handed policing. There's a time and place for, a citation depending on the egregiousness and the history and that sort of thing. But for that wave, we wrote a lot of warnings, made a lot of contacts. And one of the most important things, I think, is getting a lot of visibility. People see somebody pulled over, and that has a deterrent effect, too. So, we'll talk more about how to use that, I think, judiciously and when that's appropriate. But we had a lot of interest in doing it, so I appreciate the enthusiasm of our folks and appreciate the opportunity to be responsive to our community concerns. So always a little bit of everything. I did have the honor recently to be appointed as the chaplain of the Maryland Chiefs of Police Association, so I go to their annual conference every year in the fall, and I'll continue to that. They were doing the meetings by Zoom, but that's just another connection we have with them. They were probably the best single resource when you had the COVID pandemic first arise. They got us all sorts of updated information. When you had some of the legal changes, they kept us informed of that, and worked with the legislators on that. So it's neat to have that connection from the city of Frostburg. So just wanted to let you know that.
Okay.
And that would conclude my report. So I'm glad to elaborate or answer any questions.
All right, Chief, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, open public comment. Any citizens wishing to speak to the mayor and council, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the official record. Chief?
Fire department,
Yeah.
the monthly fire department report.
Sure. Are guys back from Cumberland?
What's that?
Are the guys back from
Yes.
Cumberland?
Well, my name's Nick Green, Chief of Frostburg Fire Department. This report was made pre-ice storm last week, thinking we were going to have a meeting, so these numbers aren't totally
Okay.
correct. For the month of November and the first half of December 2022, the FFD responded to a total of 60 calls, bringing the total year-to-date calls to 492 and an average of 1.5 calls a day. We are again this year on track to exceed 525 calls for the year. In this last month's time frame, we've responded to 7 structure fires, 11 automatic alarms or CO detectors, 3 vehicle fires, 11 motor vehicle crashes, 5 brush or outside fires, 1 wires down, 3 trees down, and 14 EMS assists. The department conducted 4 trainings during this time frame, which consisted of truck and engine company operations, as well as patient packaging for rescue operations. The department participated in numerous non-fire events, such as the Christmas parade, escorting Jack Frost around town, escorting the Mountain Ridge football team out of town on their way to states, and at the mayor's request, assisting the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad with their water fill up Friday evening. Also, we've been working with GIS department at FSU with updating our electronic maps and updating new tablets for our apparatus. Phase 1 of the project wrapped up last month. Soon we'll be installing 4 new tablets, which will better assist units responding in more accurate directions, better hydrant information, and improved building information. The department is actively working with representatives from FSU on recruitment efforts. Dr. Jeff Graham and others strategizing with our team on what events we will be able to attend and have tables set up, and so on and so forth. The department took on 1 new member in the last 45 days who come in with no training, so we'll put them through Fire 1 here in the spring. The FFD met with state highway officials yesterday, so last Wednesday, at the monthly ATAC meeting, Allegany Traffic Transportation Advisory Committee meeting to officially request that the traffic light at National Highway and New Georgia Creek Road be returned to the former timing. During recent milling and paving projects, 22 seconds were added to the green on New Georgia Creek. However, it was not returned to the original timing. If you haven't noticed, this causes increased backups on Main Street for no reason, thus forcing county EMS ambulances to go around, stop traffic into 2 lanes of oncoming traffic, as well as fire apparatus while responding westbound incidents. The state highway representatives acknowledged this and said they would get the timing back to an original timing with no time frame. Assistant Chief Matt Moore will be again the chairman of the apparatus selection committee, and with his team we will begin the research and design process for our new ladder truck after the first of the year, respectively submitted by Nicholas Green, Fire Chief.
Has that timing been, have they done it?
I haven't
Not yet.
seen that.
No.
No, I sat there this evening and I noticed it was back.
Yeah, I think they also have to repair that light now where the tree fell on it,
Yeah,
so
I believe so.
that should
yes.
be done quicker than.
Along with your
normal.
sign, it was,
Yeah.
looks like it was kind of older. But
And with the ice storm,
Yeah, we got something to work for that.
I understand
with
that.
the ice storm in the last couple of days, you've probably got to cut enough wood to heat 3 or 4 houses this winter.
You would think so. If only we got to take it with us.
Right.
Good job on also getting the GIS updates
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff. That will
huge for
really
us,
help,
yes.
yeah,
Very
It's
helpful.
important.
A lot quicker than flipping through a map book and trying to pinpoint where exactly. So, yeah.
yeah.
Anything else?
Yep, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Chief.
Happy holidays. Everybody be safe. Everybody else good? holidays.
Did you want to?
I'm just gonna thank Brian for
Oh.
inviting for additional time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, storms seem to like Thursdays.
Get you ready for
Yeah,
the
it's
weekend.
Thursday, Friday, real cold, and I don't know, Pittsburgh, our old buddy Ray up there, he's not talking like, it's gonna get like some fan cold, and that's gonna be it, so.
Thank you. So Kim helped us out. The city put this on their Facebook page, like tagged us. She pulled up to me on a traffic stop the other day. She was really nice. She's like,
Everybody else in the
Third alarm.
and you? I said, yeah. That's the bad part. Well, it's cool.
They short.
They have this police officer. She's over like, but that last picture, I don't know what that is.
Hold us.
She put all the stuff on there. I don't know.
They don't hold us a whole lot down.
Right, right.
But I'm just gonna try to handle it.
What's their second one, just 2 pieces?
First alarm would have been,
Yes,
believe it
ma'am.
or not, they go with Bowling Green. On their initial alarm, they get Ridgely. They get a
That's what I know 25 goes with them all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Bowling Green goes. Second alarm would have probably took a veil and all them. And the third alarm took
Third box.
Yeah. We were second.
Thank you.
So they took 3 more engines.
Oh, that's funny.
The gauntlet
So it's not
from
that
here
bad.
clear down